Alrighty, y'all. So we finally made it. The battle for the best, right? This is literally like this is peak. We're talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock right here. We're about to do it. What we've all been wanting me to do for some time now. Red Hood versus Cinderella. Red versus White. Ash versus whoever Ash's opponent is, Leon. Full overload gear, not fully leveled up, but it's fine because she has more of an advantage over Red Hood. We're talking about a core 7 character compared to an LB3 character, but the LB3 character is fully overload gear, where Cinderella is not. It's still kind of unfair, quite frankly, but obviously we're about to just find out, right? Now, if you want my opinion, right? If you want me to answer the question of who I think the better character is overall, right? I don't think this is really a fair comparison, right? I mean, it's kind of hard. You would have to have everybody core 7, da-da-da-da-da. But I think I would still say Red Hood is better than Cinderella as a character. It's kind of hard for me to say otherwise when she's a burst 1, 2, and 3 character. When she's a broken burst 1 and a broken burst 3. Don't get me wrong, Cinderella is a very strong character, right? She's stronger than everybody in this game, right? But even when Black Shadow Scarlet was better than Red Hood, I wasn't saying that Black Shadow Scarlet was better than Red Hood because she was more powerful, right? So because of that, I will still say Red Hood is the best character in the game. If they made Cinderella as good as she is and made her a burst of 1, 2, and 3, at least had that option of being a burst of 1, 2, and 3, then I would have easily said Cinderella was better than Red Hood. But I think still having that burst 1 massive support for all allies whenever you want, and that burst 3 DPS whenever you want, and even that burst 2 if you need it, right? Taunt all enemies, HP potency to your damage if you need that, right? Very, very good, right? I think the whole mechanic of if you use it, you lose your burst skill or whatever. So for example, if I save, let's say I use my burst 1 and then I don't use anything else and I'm on a, let's say I use my burst 1, skip my burst 2 and then use my burst 3. And then the next burst rotation, I can use my burst 1 again. But if I do it, then I'm on a 40-second cooldown. If I skip that and go to my burst 2, I'm on a 40-second cooldown reduction again, and I can go into my burst 3. Like, Red Hood is such a broken character, you guys just don't understand how she works. Burst 1, 2, and 3, I think that's always going to be better than anything in this game, no matter how strong Cinderella is. But I would say Cinderella is a top 3 character. I do think she's more powerful than Modernia. I think she as a character is just better than Modernia. I think it's kind of hard for me to say she's better than Crown, but at the same time it's like she might be, right? She might be number 2, but we're going to compare these two in damage and just usability and stuff like that. So let's go. All right, so first off, we're going into obviously shooting range with this composition right here. I could go in with scope lock while we would lose overload gear, and I don't think that's what we want to do right now. Full typing advantage. We're going in here with Red Hood, and what I would like to say is one of her best teams, if not her best team, which is with Crown, Litter, and Naga, right? The other burst 3 could have been someone who was supporting her, but I like to keep it fair, just have 2 DPS burst 3s, right? Oh, and then they're gonna restart because we've lost a few seconds there. But basically, I want to see her damage output, her, we're not going to really get to see her capabilities in shooting range, but we're about to do like a boatload of different battles and stuff like that, right? But I do think Red Hood is just too broken of a character. It's really, for her to be burst 1, 2, and 3, you cannot tell me another character is better than someone who's that broken at burst 1 and burst 3 and has the ability to go into her burst 1, 2, and 3. Now, if we take a look at her damage, right, she's at 1.6 million. Type advantage, all these buffs, the pierce effect, look at this, core hit, core damage, and stuff like that. She went from 1.6 million type advantage to a good 88 million. All right, and it's like, remind you, she's doing that and still being a broken burst 1 support, right, whenever you want, right? So she's just so good to me. I generally just believe she's just that good. She's just too good, right? Her regular damage core hits were casually hitting, 2 million, 1.4 million. She's just so good. She's just so good. She's so good. Obviously, Scarlet hits harder. Like I said, Scarlet is obviously just going to be more stronger than Red Hood. But I cannot say, oh, whoever the hardest hitting character in the game is the best character, right? I like to go based off facts. I mean, my own personal facts. You guys can let me know who you think is the best character in the game, but I like to go off of facts and logic, right? Don't get me wrong, Red Hood is not the best DPS in the game, but let's not get it twisted. She's one of the best DPSs in the game, right? And to mix that up with having the best or one of the best supports in the game in one, it's kind of hard for me to, like, she's literally a team by herself. Red Hood is literally built as a team for herself, so it's kind of hard for me to just say, oh, anybody who hits harder than Red Hood is better than Red Hood, because I don't really agree with such a logic. I know some people do. I know a lot of people do agree with, oh, whoever the hardest hitting character in the game is the best character in the game. I'm not one of those people. I like to go off of logic, as I say, and I think that is logical. I think her being burst 1, 2, and 3 and broken as a burst 1 and 3. She's not really that good as a burst 2, but her being broken as a burst 1 and 3 is what puts her at the top, right? So we got a minute and 20 seconds left. We're gonna see what's going on here. Damage wise, pretty good, right? She's still technically on par with Scarlet, but again, she's type advantage here, so for Scarlet to still be like right neck and neck with her when she's type advantage with all these buffs is kind of it just kind of shows how powerful Black Shadow Scarlet is in reality. But I'm not gonna take away the fact that Red Hood is like crazy good, right? I'm not gonna do that. So but look, if you take a look, like Red like, we know Scarlet's broken, right? We know Scarlet's broken. If I'm gonna compare Scarlet and Cinderella, I'm not doing it on this account, because this account, that Scarlet right here, this Scarlet right here is the most invested character, and if I was to go type advantage versus type advantage, it's just unfair, because this Scarlet is built to like be dominant against her being type advantage. Like, her being type advantage is where you're gonna see her go ape stuff, right? Elemental damage on all overload gear. Very, very strong character on this account specifically. Just powerful, right? I didn't even showcase Red Hood's burst 1, 2, and 3 through this battle, which I'm not going to. I'm going to do that in the next one. But next, we're going to go into the 3-minute match with Cinderella and talk about, you know, Cinderella and stuff like that. This might be a long video, y'all. You know, this might be a long video. This might be a long video for comparison and stuff like that. But at the end of it, you know, Red Hood ended up getting 610, like, that's still very good damage. 610 million damage. That's still very, very good damage, right? So shout outs to Red Hood for that damage. Now let's go into Cinderella's team. All right, so this right here is what I would like to consider not her best team, but one of her most powerful teams. Now, I'm actually going to change up the team. I think I'm just going to run the exact same team I ran for Red Hood. Even though I wouldn't put this for Cinderella's team, I would have put like Summer and Nice right where Scarlet is, and that would have made it a lot better, but I won't want it to be, I want it to be as fair as possible, right? I think I'm going to get a lot of comments if I put Summer and Nice and everyone's like, oh, Zxous, you just put Summer and Nice on the team though. You put Summer and Nice on the team, right? If you don't, this right here is my light. It's falling off. Obviously, I need new ones, so don't mind that. But you guys are going to be, I know someone's going to be like, oh, you put Summer and Nice, that's so unfair. This is genuine. But don't worry, I'm not worried. I know Cinderella's gonna go crazy. I know Cinderella's gonna go crazy. She always does. Look. I didn't even know her. Oh, wow. What are we at? 151 million. Red Hood, her first burst rotation. This is the same exact team. Red Hood went from whatever it was to 88 million. Cinderella went to from whatever it was to 171 million or 51 million. And we're not fully stacked with Cinderella. That's what like people fail to realize. We're only 5 stacks out of 12 stacks. Cinderella has so much more. It's like, she's powerful. Yeah, we know that she's just so strong. It's just mind-blowing how strong this character is to me. It's so bizarre. Like how strong this character genuinely is to me. And I think she's bugged right now, actually. So what I've learned is that apparently, like when enemies are moving around, we're at 207 million. When enemies move around and stuff, we're fully stacked as well. When they move around and stuff, her homing bullets are not like hitting them, and that was like kind of like the bug there. It's supposed to be hitting them as well because it's homing. She just doubled her damage from 200 and what? Like whatever it was, 200 and whatever million to 400 million. Like she just doubled her damage. Let's not forget Cinderella has a decoy as well. So right now we are at 300, and let me pull up a calculator for you guys. So this right here is how much HP the decoy has, just 3 million HP. So she has an additional 300 HP in front of her because of her decoy. And remember, she can, where it says one decoy, she can regenerate that decoy as well. So she can always just regenerate that decoy and have an additional, what, like 3 million HP in front of her. Now that decoy's HP is not going into how strong Cinderella is, no, but to have that, I guess, additional 300 shield in front of you is going to be very, 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 very powerful. Like, look at, she's just bonkers. She's just bonkers. 672 million. She's very good. Very, very strong. Very, very strong. Her DPS is so strong that, like, you guys let me know. I want you guys to let me know. Is it Cinderella or is it Red Hood? I'll probably do a community post as well after this video, and I want you guys to let me know, right? Is it Cinderella or is it Red Hood for the very best in the game, right? It's gonna, if you guys are going to try to convince me that Cinderella is the best, you guys are gonna have to come with like blah 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 blah, because it's gonna be very hard for someone to convince me Cinderella is better than Red Hood just because of her DPS, right? She's very powerful. She's definitely a Pilgrim anniversary level character. Yes, I think they should have made her burst 1, 2, and 3. I think they should have made her water, but I don't mind her being electric. But I do think that they could have been in their bag if they made her burst 1, 2, and 3. But then it's like, if she was as powerful and a burst 1, 2, and 3 by the 3rd anniversary, like, a lot of the characters would not be powerful enough, because they would literally have to make content where Cinderella somewhat struggles, right? Because she's just so powerful with these buffers, like Crown, Naga, Litter, and any DPS is like times 5 million% of your damage. On top of how strong Cinderella is already, it's just unfair, right? So I'm gonna put up the comparison of both of the DPSs from Red Hood and Cinderella after this, and then we're gonna go into Anomaly, and probably, hopefully, I can try Arena as well. We're gonna go into these places and see. But obviously, Cinderella ended up hitting, okay, that's a new record. Cinderella ended up hitting 1.3 billion, and Red Hood ended up hitting, and there you go. So Red Hood ended up hitting 610 million. Scarlet again 626 million. This time around with Cinderella, it's the same thing, 620 million ish, and then Cinderella literally double what Red Hood was doing damage wise. Same team, exact same team comp, just different DPSs. So you guys could kind of see why that's nutty, right? All right, so I'm not gonna play around too much with the Arena team, since this is not my account, but we're gonna go in here with, you know, whatever this is. So I'm gonna try to look for an actual decent team around the same power level, and then we're gonna fight that, but we're basically going to be testing them in Arena now, just one match each. I think this is a good one right here. I don't think this is too bad. We are just like, what, a few thousand power under, but I don't think this is that bad of a difference. I can find something a bit more closer to the actual thing. Here, let me look for it. Okay, it's fine. So we're gonna fight this team right here, and both of them are actually, I'm gonna have both of these teams. So this team right here fight this, and then I'm gonna switch Red Hood with Cinderella and have it fight the exact same team. So let's see how this is looking. Let's see how this is looking, right? I don't know, like, Cinderella is so good. She's so good. She's so good. Okay, let's see. I think we might have this in the bag. Okay, this is where Red Hood becomes useful, because if we get our burst skill, which we did, boom, 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 that's where Red Hood becomes broken. Literally, that's a perfect example of what I mean. Both our burst 1 and 2 character died. The only burst 1 and 2 character, all of them died, right? Both our burst 2 and our burst 1 characters died. All 3 of them, right? So if we had gotten our burst skill there, literally, we would have not been able to use our Red Hood at all if she was only a burst 3. So that's what I mean when I say her being a burst 1, 2, and 3 is so freaking good, because when you lose out on your burst 1 and 2s on your team, she's able to replace them, and that's how we got the win right there. We were about to lose right there, but because she's a burst 1, 2, and 3 and went into burst 1, 2, and 3, we ended up getting the dub, right? So let's take a look what it is with Cinderella now. Okay, so I found the exact same team, Barry again, exact same team comp, this time just with Cinderella, right? Not Red Hood, right? And I think literally that last one with Red Hood is a prime example of what I was trying to get at. And I think we might, it depends, because Red Hood or Cinderella being as strong as she is might just make this a lot easier, for example, right? Our burst generation isn't as powerful here. It's clearly not as good, our burst generation. But yeah, we lost here. But we have the decoy, right? But we're just not doing the damage. So the decoy right there was actually very, very tanky, right? And I think that's where Cinderella could be very broken in PvP if I had more of an actual PvP team. I can't go back in there because I have one more chance. If I let me put in an actual PvP team for Cinderella, right? Because her decoy right there was very, very good, right? But we didn't get our burst skill off. So let me put a PvP team in and we're going to see. Okay, so here, this is a PvP team. I'm going to look for that exact same team comp. We're a lot less in power here. We're a lot less in power here. But I'm going to try to find that exact same team comp. We have burst generations galore. Where is that team? Barry. Here we go. I don't think we're going to win with this. We're so below in power. Let me make sure gear's on at least. I think we're going to lose here. I'm going to go against the same team, but we're literally like half the power. So, and I've looked and the characters here are not built at all. Like none of the PvP characters here are built. So I don't think we are going to win here, but I want to see what happens if we get our burst skill off with the decoy. We should be able to get it off faster with this team. Exactly. And we did. And now, right, we have a decoy, we're immune, all that stuff. Like this is where Cinderella would pop off with an actual team, right? But then again, we just did no damage to them. We just did no damage to them. We were not strong enough against them with this composition right here. It says Cinderella did 55 damage. Oh, she's weak. I'm joking. But yeah, I guess in arena, with the same teams right there, you guys kind of understood how Red Hood was just better right there, right? Now, obviously, I know that I can have different teams for these things, but I try to keep it with the same team just so that it's like kind of fair. I feel like it's more fair having the same team, right? If I ran their best teams, I can do that as well. But having the same team, especially since they work with the same team, makes it a lot easier to showcase. Now, let's do some tribe towers. We are underpowered. We're going to go in here with this comp again, tribe tower. Where we can actually, do damage, tank damage and stuff like that. We're going to go in here with this team, and then we're also going to go in there with Red Hood's team. We're going to do a few levels with this team, a few levels with the other team as well, right? Our burst generation is just not that great here. Let me go to Scarlet, where it's like better, I guess, right? And then boom. It doesn't really matter what our damage is. It's more like if we can clear it, in my opinion. I think once you get a burst skill off, though, for any of the two, you're cooking. Not to mention we have the shield, not to mention we have the decoy. I don't think it's going to be very hard for Cinderella to die. It's going to be very hard for Cinderella of all characters to die, unless it's like an instant nuke, right? Okay, some of these enemies are dead, and then, yeah. Yeah. So you just got to cook it with tower and stuff like that. You just kind of cook with a tower and stuff like that. What is it? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do like 2 more stages. I don't want to push in tower for somebody else because I don't know if this is like their down bad gems or whatever. I don't know if it really matters or whatever, but I'm going to go in here, do like 2 more stages or whatever. And then I'll do the rest of the stages with Red Hood, right? But for example, if any of the characters had died right there, boom. And then Cinderella just, she's so powerful. She generally is just so powerful. It's just silly how powerful this character is. But now we're not doing any damage to this enemy. Like, can we break that? About time. Good lord. Just good lord. And then yeah, there we go. The homing bullets is really, really good, and it's bugged right now, so she actually could be doing a lot more damage. But the homing bullets is very, very good, right? I do feel like the homing bullets are very, very, very freaking good. Like, that's gonna hit us or hit somebody. We had the shield up, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, I know it's gonna be quite hard for us to lose. I think so. I think it's gonna be very, very difficult for us to lose, right? Just kind of cooking up, right? We'll do 1 more match, and then we'll do 2 more matches to go to 57. 57, 58, 59, 60. No, then from Red Hood we'll do 58, 59, and 260, and then we'll wrap up there, and I guess give my final verdict of who is better and why they're better, and like basically that's it, right? I think both of them are very good. I think anniversary level for first anniversary, second anniversary, I think Nikke did a fantastic job, right? I think it's very, very clear that they did a very, very good job, and I genuinely am surprised, right? They didn't make her a burst 1, 2, and 3, and I genuinely thought for the whole year that if they had not made Cinderella a burst 1, 2, and 3, if I've been calling her Anna this video, I do apologize. But if they had not been basically making her, if they didn't make her a burst 1, 2, and 3, I did not think that she would be as like good, or I didn't even think she'd be a contender for that slot, right? Let alone like top 3 or whatever. Well, she could have easily been top 3. That's no question. But I didn't think that she could be a contender, right? But I'm not gonna lie, like using her here, I do like it did cross my mind. Maybe she is the best in the game, but then again, there's just facts behind it why I just cannot change it. I'm sorry. But you guys could kind of like try to convince me down below. I don't mind having the opinion that, oh, Cinderella is the best in the game, right? If you want to convince me otherwise in the comments, by all means, right? But right now I am well, I don't know, we'll see. Right, this is falling, y'all. If it's moving, that means it's falling. And then yeah, she's too much damage, because damage is a big factor in this game too. Let's not get it twisted. Like, damage is a big factor. You need damage to win. So obviously with Cinderella having as much damage as she has, a lot of people might be like, okay, but she hits so hard, so you're literally beating anything in the game. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let me pause. All right, so I'm in there now with Red Hood. But like I was saying, damage is such a big factor in Nikke. So maybe a lot of you guys might be like, oh, but because damage is such a big part and Cinderella has so much of that, she's the best in the game, right? I think if Red Hood just was a burst 1, 2, and 3 and didn't have damage, but still could go into burst 1, 2, and 3, then yeah, I would say so. But I think she's very good DPS wise as a burst 3, not as good as Cinderella, not as good as Black Shadow, not as good as a lot of the characters. Don't get me wrong, she's still a very good DPS, but is Red Hood like one of the hardest hitting DPSs in the game? I don't even know if she's top 3. I think there's a lot of characters who hit harder than Red Hood. Yes, I would say that. But she does do good damage, right? You guys let me know. I don't know. I don't know. Cause now I'm putting all these like little facts into like the mix, and I don't know who I would say is the best, right? Yeah, she's a burst 1, 2, and 3, but there has been times where like her damage just wasn't enough for me personally. There's definitely been times of that. But then again, there's been times where I literally lost my DPS, my burst 1, 2s, and 3s, and she came in clutch. So it's kind of hard for me to say, what do I value right now? Do I value how strong a character is, how easy a character can make me beat content regardless of my power or whatever, and all the stuff that comes with that? Like, I don't know. What do I want to consider in order to determine who the best character in the game is, right? It's kind of hard, right? And I think with Grave, when Grave comes out, Red Hood is going to get a massive buff, because Red Hood has Pierce, and Grave is going to be buffing up Red Hood like galore, right? And obviously this is like a team-based game, so you're going to have to run them with their best teams and stuff like that. And if Grave does end up getting put on Red Hood's best team, her damage is going to skyrocket. Is it going to surpass Cinderella? Definitely not, because Grave will work with Cinderella as well. But having that extra Pierce damage and the attack damage that Grave provides for Red Hood is going to be quite crazy, right? Let's keep it a G. It is going to be quite crazy. So it's kind of hard. I don't really know, but I don't know. You guys got to let me know. I don't know. I don't know who I want to say. Cinderella's the best. I want to say Red Hood is the best. I don't know. I don't know what I want to consider to be the best. Like, I think in this video, I've been giving out very valid points all around, kind of giving each character like the benefit of the doubt, both of them, but at the end of the day, I do generally think it comes down to what we consider most, what we value more. Insane DPS, where it's like we don't have to struggle, or, you know, I don't know. Because there's definitely going to be times where, okay, what if I need a burst 1 and 2, but Red Hood can only go into burst 1, right? It kind of changed the fact, but having that additional, it's so hard to say. I don't know. And damage wise, yeah, Red Hood is going to cook. But then, oh, we got Naga's burst skill off. That's unfortunate. It's fine. Scarlet's going to get, Scarlet died. Right, and then we don't have an additional burst 3, right? She's just a main burst, just additional burst 1 and 2, but we don't have that additional burst 3. Are we about to lose with this team comp? If we lose with this team comp, that's gonna be funny, because then I'll put in Cinderella and I know we'll win. But yeah, so boom, yeah. So having that burst 1, 2, and 3, we could cover here, because yeah, that's fine. And then we won, right? So close though. We are so close to losing right there. But yeah, we could have lost right there. We could have easily had lost right there. Let them had attacked Red Hood, we would have lost right there, right? But if they had attacked Cinderella, she would have had a decoy. And this is where it's like, oh, I don't know. Let me give you guys my final verdict. All right, so this is the end of the video. I do think that it's kind of hard. All right, I'm kind of leaning towards Cinderella. as the best character in the game now that I've done this. But my mind is still kind of screaming Red Hood, Red Hood, Red Hood, Red Hood. And it's just so hard for me to really decide who I think is the best. I think both of them have insane pros, and I think both of them have insane cons. Not insane cons, but I think both of them do have pros, right? Pros for both of them is that they're very, very, very powerful. More for Cinderella than Red Hood, because Cinderella is the hardest hitting character in the game, no question, right? I think both of them have some type of sustain, you know, like ability. Red Hood being a burst of 1, 2, and 3, making it that if your burst of 1s or 2s dies, she can possibly replace them in battle, which I do think is great. Where Red Hood, Cinderella, she doesn't have that ability, but she does have a decoy. The only thing is that decoy is not protecting the entire team; it's only protecting Cinderella, right? I do think if you do play the game and it gets to a point where you actually just cover and stuff, I don't think that burst of 1, 2, and 3 from Red Hood is going to matter as much, right? Because if you're just not dying with your burst 1 and 2s, then the burst 1 and 2s don't really matter for Red Hood. It's more so if they die and then you're able to use that with Red Hood, then by all means burst 1, 2, and 3 matters. But it's kind of hard. Cinderella is just so powerful. She's going to obliterate the game and making it a lot easier for you to beat bosses that you are going to struggle with a lot of other characters on your team. Her having the shield, her skilling off the HP is very good. Her being a rocket launcher but kind of shoots like an AR or machine gun, very, very good. Being able to recreate this decoy of hers, it's very, very good. She doesn't have anything to kind of help out the team though, right? That's the one thing. She is also like a self character. She has nothing that helps the team out or anything like that. Red Hood has a few abilities that do help out in battle, right? She does give all allies an attack buff. She gives all allies a defense buff. Right? She does also, what else does she do? That's it. She just gives all allies an attack buff. That's it. And a defense buff if you use her Beast Cage, which I believe is the first skill. So if you use her Burst 1, she's giving them a massive defense buff and a massive attack buff, right? That's all she has for the entirety of the team. Other than that, she can replace Burst 1 and 2s. She can taunt if you want that as well. It's not really, her Burst 2 is not really the best, but if you do need to taunt, that's another sustain. Like, it's kind of hard, right? I am leaning more towards Cinderella as the best in the game, but with all the facts behind Red Hood, I am going to sit and stand tall behind Red Hood is the best in the game, right? If I need the taunt mechanics, I can pop that whenever, but at the same time, it's like I cannot predict the future. I cannot predict when I'm going to need the taunt and stuff like that, so it's kind of hard to say, because let's say I need the taunt, right? But I had already used my burst 1 and 2 beforehand, and now I'm on cooldown, and I really needed it right there. I cannot predict it, so it's kind of so weird. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Red Hood, but I want to say Cinderella is the best. You guys let me know. I'm right now I'm going to say Red Hood is best. Cinderella, I'm going to say second. I will say Cinderella second best. But if you guys, a lot of you guys can convince me that Cinderella is the very best in the game and then Red Hood is second, I'm going to stand right there with you guys. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this little experiment. I know there's some things that I could have done better in this video, probably with the arena. Probably not, because I did, again, I'm not on my account. Right? Because my Cinderella is not fully built yet with her overload gear and stuff like that, so it wouldn't really have made sense to compare my Red Hood and my non-fully built Cinderella, where this one, it's kind of like built and built, right? They're very similar in power, very close in power and all that stuff. So yeah, but it's gonna be your boy Zxous. I don't know if I asked for any likes or subscribers on this videos, but let's try to get 2 subscribers and let's try to get 100 likes. How about that? Right, it's your boy Zxous. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.